Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Josh and Ciaran Experience. I'm Josh McKenna.
And my name is Ciaran Sanders.
And we're going to have a great time here. We're going to tell you a bit about what the show's going to be about. So we're two 19-year-old guys.
Yeah, recently turned 19. Yeah,
Going to UBC, just living life.
Technically I go to Corpus Christi College. It's a liberal arts college located on UBC campus. It is a Catholic college on UBC. And so I'm just that much better than Josh McKenna.
Yeah, I honestly don't know why you didn't just keep it at UBC, because that sounds a lot better, but
Yeah, okay, truthfully, I do say that I just go to UBC to a lot of people because explaining that in conversation is extremely tedious and is actually, like, I consider it a waste of breath, pretty much, actually.
You're basically having like a second high school experience right now, like you're because so Ciaran went to Vancouver College.
Yeah, it's an all boys private Catholic school, so yeah.
And for the first time, this guy's in school with girls since elementary school.
Yeah, it's quite a ride. It's quite a ride. Not gonna lie.
Like, get this, it's on a university campus, but he's in one building, like all under the same cover. He doesn't even have to experience walking around in the UBC rain.
No,
and the guy's got a locker in there, like they got a whole commons area.
I have a couple now. I had one locker throughout high school, and it wasn't even a full locker. It was like a little cubby, pretty much. So now, I mean, it's compartmentalized, right? I got like 3 little mini lockers, but they all kind of grouped together in one long one, I guess.
So Ciaran's really getting the best of both worlds right now. He's getting, he's just having a goof over at Corpus Christi,
having a gas,
and enjoying all the perks of UBC life, like hitting the frats on the weekends.
Yeah, I'm going tomorrow, actually.
Participating in campus life, the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we tell them a bit about why we're doing this? I mean,
well, I think we have a Josh and I have been friends. Okay, I'm gonna say we've known each other for a while. We've only been friends for about probably 6 years now, going like almost 7 years.
Well, yeah, we hated each other.
We used to hate each other. Originally, when we used to play soccer together, Josh's father coached me in soccer. I swear to this day, I haven't encountered a better coach. But
Mike McKenna.
Wow, I love that man.
What a guy.
Oh yeah. Well, Josh and I, when we were about like 8 or 9. We were at this soccer practice, and we were playing this drill called Shadow, where you're supposed to just have one person supposed to have the ball, and the other person is supposed to just shadow the other person, not try to take the ball away, just like kind of pretend. And there's really no checking involved at all. Like nothing. You're basically just supposed to like just run around beside the guy with the ball, and then you switch. And I don't know honestly, to this day, I don't know who started it, but like Josh and I were partners, and we just started like getting a bit, taking it a bit too seriously.
A little bit too into it.
Yeah, a little bit too into it. And then we started, like, it was one shove, and then the other person would like shove a little bit harder, and then it just escalated from there. Next thing you know, well, okay, for me, the drill never really ended. Like, I was still really pissed at this guy.
Like, for me, like, the drill ended, and I was like, well, that's the end of the drill. Because, just really, honestly, in all sporting events, I tend to go a lot harder than Ciaran. I'm really into it. And Ciaran,
that explains why you do so much sporting, right? Like, you're clearly the more athletic one, right?
Quite obviously. Obviously. They begged me to actually go into playing rep soccer.
Oh, really?
But I said, look, I don't have the time for this.
Oh, okay.
And so then they took Ciaran instead. But
yeah,
that's just how it goes. But so in my mind, the drill's over. It's fine. We're whatever. But I don't know. Ciaran's mind is
I was fuming.
This guy.
I was fuming.
This guy. This is like it's like the end of round 1 of like a boxing match, and he's coming in.
I'm
for
warmed
round
up
2.
now.
Like,
is basically where my head was at. Like,
yeah.
Okay, you really want to play? Like, I can take it up from here. And we go over to get water, and I remember like trying to psych myself up to go over and like talk to him and be like, hey man, what the heck was that? What was that over there, man? What are you talking about, huh? And I think I like splashed water.
No, yeah, because I walked over to you. I can't remember why. I walked over to you for something.
Water.
I was gonna talk to you about something, and I got within like 5 feet of you, and then you're there with your water bottle, and you threw water on me.
Yeah, it was like a cup of water. Yeah.
Yeah, and like for whatever reason, I don't know, 8 years old, somebody throws water on you. Like, also it was indoors. Like,
yeah, it was an indoor gym. It was an indoor gym.
And he threw water at me, and I was like, "What the heck, man? What are you doing?" Like, right? And I was so mad, and so I was like, "What are you doing?" And I like started walking like closer to him, and then he's like, "Stay away from me!" You threw more water.
I did not say stay away.
You were like,
from me.
Stay away, and you threw more water. Oh my god! You threw more water on me.
Such a sissy. No,
and I was so friggin' mad. And then like the coaches came and like split us up. They're like,
yeah,
guys,
we were actually
get away from each other.
We were grappling a bit. I remember like you scratched me on my neck, and it was like a little bit red. I remember that. And then at the end of I think your dad was actually more concerned that we were spilling water inside the gym than like us fighting, because we honestly really didn't do much. And he like sat us down and went down on the one knee and told us to settle our differences or whatever. And then after that, we honestly didn't really interact for probably like 2 years. I'd say I don't remember like any interaction with you.
Yeah, I think because were we not on the same team for a bit?
Yeah, I
something like that.
I did leave. Yeah, I requested a transfer.
But I think there was already like a little bit of bad blood between us. Like, you probably weren't aware of it. I don't know if I ever even told you the story, but I remember we both had like a mutual friend that we were both really close with.
Lucas?
No, it was like Brennan back then, because like Brennan and I were like in the same baby group, and we all like hung out. Yeah.
I did swimming lessons with Brennan.
Yeah. This is where it came up, because
reconnected with him.
Yeah, because like Brennan and I were like pretty good friends, and then I heard about Brennan's new best friend, right? Who one time when I was at the pool, I think with Brennan, I ran into this freaking douchebag who's just standing around the side of the pool, just like hanging around, thinking he's like the biggest deal in the world. Brennan goes, "Oh, this is Ciaran. This is my good friend Ciaran."
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and I was like,
was that like it wasn't a lesson? You didn't take lessons with us.
I know Brennan and I took lessons together at one point, I think, but I think at that point we weren't. But he introduced me to you, and I was like, I never want to see this guy again. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, and so there's already,
before there was Mr. Steal Your Girl, it was Mr. Steal Your Best Friend.
Yeah. So so there was definitely I did not like Ciaran. He was not
high on your list of likable people. Yeah. And then I went back to the team that Josh was on again, like 2 years later, and it was icy. Not gonna lie, it was a little bit icy between Josh and I. And then one day, like, we just kind of like we were waiting in line at a drill, and anyone who's ever played soccer, like waiting in line like in a drill is like the best time for like shenanigans.
Yeah, it's like just above zero,
Yeah, just above zero. And I look over at Josh, and he's like blowing his breath out, and he's like pretending to smoke, and we're like, oh, honestly, maybe 11 or 12, and then I'm like, oh, huh, that's pretty funny. And I like do the exact same thing. It's like so dumb, and like there's no comedic value to that at all. Like, that is probably, I think, like, every kid has done that. There's
we'd like literally
nothing original about it.
We'd be like holding our fingers up to our mouth and like sucking air in, and then like blowing out, and we were so amused by it.
Oh yeah.
And we were in like two separate lines, but we would just like face each other and like fake smoke. Like we were in like a little smoke pit together. Yeah. We bonded,
Yeah. And then at what was it? Like grade 7.
Well, dude, I think it was not just that, because we started like, that's probably when we first like noticed each other. Wow, this sounds like a romance story. This is
I know. But wow, long time coming.
I recall being like I don't know, you were a little bit of a spaz when I knew you when you were young, A little bit of a spaz. And
sidetrack. That was that was the filthiest word you could have called someone in like grade 2, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, I remember
like spaz. Like, everyone was like, "Oh man!"
Somebody called me a spaz once, and I didn't.
Your mouth.
I didn't know what it meant, but I knew it was horrible. And I remember getting in the car with my mom, and I was like, "This guy called me a spaz today," and she was like, "Well, what does spaz mean?" And I was like,
she didn't even know.
Yeah, she didn't even know. And I was like, "Oh well, I don't know, but it's bad." And she was like, "Well, how do we know if it's like how bad it is if we don't know what it means?" And I was like, I don't freaking know. But yeah, it was like, woman. That was a harsh word to use. Like, everyone was like, "You spaz." Like, yeah. But anyway,
that was up there with crap.
But when we, were on the same team again together, then like, I don't know, dude, you got a little witty, like after
got
some
a little
time.
witty.
Yeah,
I
dude,
just
like
acquired some wit.
I think we both got a little wittier, and at that point, I was like kind of charmed by like the mutual wit we had between each other.
Yeah,
and it was because of that,
the dry sarcasm.
that we, my, what was it, like 12th birthday party was like coming around.
Yeah,
I think it was 12th, and.
Well, no, you're jumping the gun here. At the end of the grade 7 wrap-up party for our soccer team.
No, dude, it definitely would have been my birthday party first because my birthday's in February and soccer doesn't wrap up.
No, it was the year next. It was the year after because everyone was kind of unsure of like where everyone was going. I remember this distinctly. At the end of this wrap-up party, we were at this like indoor soccer game.
Yeah. And
we all played it, and we were like, at the end of it, like, okay, yeah, see you guys, da-da-da. Like, and it was grade 7. And in grade 7, you thought that like, hey, I'm never gonna see these people again. I'm moving on. I'm up and out. And I remember Josh came up to me, and he's like, "Hey, Ciaran," and I was like, "Yeah," and he said, "It was honestly an absolute pleasure having you around, and I really appreciate you, man." And I remember thinking like, what the hell? Like, what is this guy's problem?
Yeah,
like,
I think I was like shook your hand or something like that.
Yeah, you shook my hand. I was like, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, no, dude, that was definitely grade.
Goodbye.
That would have been like grade 6 or something though.
Oh yeah,
because it was my
6.
12th birthday party. That
yeah, probably grade 6.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
And then I say, around February comes next year, I say, "Hey, Ciaran, you want to come to my birthday party?"
Yeah.
Can I have a little movie night over at my grandma's house?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And you had girls together too.
No.
Like there was some. You had.
This is like one of Ciaran's first encounters with a female that he was not related to.
Well,
like,
no,
in his
it was
life.
okay.
So.
Oh, okay, whoa! Yeah. I was in elementary school, so I had access to people with without a Y chromosome. All right, so like, give me a break, okay? Yeah. And that's after that we kind of just.
And weren't you just like shocked when I asked you or something like that?
I don't know if I remember being super
like
shocked.
You're like honored.
Oh, I was definitely honored.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I had such a great time, and it was the first time that I think you've said it before, like when you're like 14 or 13, and you like hang out at a friend's house, and you're like, oh, what do you want to do? Like, oh, do you want to maybe walk to 7-Eleven?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
alone?
Dude, that was like the selling point for I was like telling my parents, I was like, I want to walk to 7-Eleven and we'll all like go and walk it on the streets together. She's like, why would you want to do that in the middle of winter? Get a Slurpee? And I was like, yeah, okay, look, we just want to do it, okay? Like,
you don't understand.
Nowadays,
Mom.
it's like
Understand.
it's like oh shit, let's go to McDonald's and get some fries. Oh, it's like 5 minutes from my house. Should we just walk? Absolutely not.
No, that is
way.
out of the question. I remember your dad, like we pulled up to your house at the party, and I guess it was like your grandma's house, but we pulled up, and your dad was talking to my dad, and of course they shared the mutual dad friendship forged on the sidelines of the soccer field.
Yeah.
So they were like old war buddies,
hamming it up a little bit.
Old war buddies, pretty much. And they're
war vets who are just seeing each other run into each other at a bar.
Buy each other a drink or something.
Yeah.
And then big old Mike McKenna was like, yeah, Dave, I hope you don't. I think he was kind of half joking because he does that where he kind of says something like super nonchalant, but he says it very seriously, and that's just kind of his sense of humor. But I was still kind of thrown off about this. And he's like, Dave, I hope you don't mind. They're going to be walking to 7-Eleven. And they're going to be unsupervised for a little bit. They're probably, just going to get some snacks or something for the movie. And I actually think part of him was actually serious, like he was warning another parent. And my dad was like, I don't want to speak for him, but he's, at that point, I feel like I was old enough to walk like 5 minutes to 7-Eleven.
I mean, what parent's gonna say no to that? Like, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like it's in Ladner. Like, it's like no. Like my son has a tendency to like go
still,
and like shoot heroin up behind 7-Eleven with the other junkies. So in Ladner, so I'm not comfortable with him being unsupervised.
It was still light out too, so it's not like it's super crazy. My dad looked over
me. It's like 4 p.m.
Yeah,
like
4 p.m. It's not even. I would call it afternoon still. It's not even evening. But yeah, that's what we did, and it was an awesome party. Not gonna lie, I think every party that I've been to, I've been chasing that the
that
original.
high. Yeah.
That high, right? Like it's just like I feel like a junkie actually that lives beside the 7-Eleven at the larger Starbucks.
We really bonded at that party though, because we watched 2 movies. We watched Blades of Glory.
Love that movie.
Classic film. And then we also watched if anybody's ever played that game Balderdash, where they have like the weird movies section where you have to like write like a short like 1-sentence plot for it, but we always hear these like weird names of movies and then hear their actual plots, and they're so weird. And this one was the only one I ever watched from that.
In the weird movie section, they have weird plots.
Yeah, well, sometimes they just have like a weird name, right? Like a weird suggestion name, but this one just sounded like I couldn't believe like this was real. And it's like it's this old horror movie called The Tingler.
Oh god.
It's called The Tingler. Like who is like crap. Oh, it's like, oh no, I don't even want to talk about getting tingled. Like,
oh man, yeah, that's like so suggestive. Like,
but then
actually, that I'm sure that there are more than one. Like, I'm sure that there are multiple pornographic films called The Tingler, and I'm sure that people get messed up all the time.
Kieran's researched this. He's in-depth research.
No, I have not. No, I have not.
But yeah, so, and we actually watched it. It had Vincent Price in it, and it was actually surprisingly good. Like, there was like a scene where they'd like gone in by hand, and because it's black and white, and they'd colored like blood filling up a bathtub red, like frame by frame, which was actually like really interesting.
They did
kind
frame by
of
frame?
shocking. Yeah, because they couldn't do it any other way. They had no computers.
Wow.
So yeah, it was an interesting movie. But Ciaran and I were texting from opposite sides of the room, just like cracking little jokes about this movie, like all the way through, which was, you know, it was good. The occasional
quip was voiced to the group, and it was well received, to be sure. But no, it was a great time, great party.
Yeah, that banter is pretty much essentially what this whole podcast is gonna be about, because I don't know, people will just like,
we're already 17 minutes in this. Holy crap!
Well, yep. This is what it's going to be like. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, I know, yeah. We thought we were going to have trouble filling up time talking about stuff, but yeah, we're burning through time.
But yeah, like Ciaran and I don't know, I guess when people will hang out with us, and maybe like one or two other people, we'll usually get like bantering about something. And a lot, like more than one person has told us like, you guys should like have a podcast or something where you just like talk about stuff, you know? Like just banter. It's like you guys have good banter together. And I think for like we thought about it for a while and we just never really got around to it, but I don't know, now it just felt like the time.
Yeah, I actually joined the student radio station at UBC, and I thought about like, oh yeah, having like a radio show, and I wanted to do it with a friend at UBC, but he was super busy all the time, and we also had like a pretty good...
So I was second choice. Yeah.
I was gonna have you on. Yeah. And I'm looking at that. I'm not really sure where it's gonna go. I think this kind of substituted what I was looking to do there, but yeah, I kind of doing that, like doing the training at the radio station, kind of opened my eyes to like it's not out of the picture. You know, it's not like some intensive 8-week course that you have to take to do this kind of thing. Like we're really just having a conversation in Josh's room, not listening to anything, burning some incense, just
sipping some tea,
sipping some nice orange pico tea.
Yeah, and then I'd also just recently taken I'm still in it, a music technology class, and we had a whole portion of the course was about podcasting. So I figured out how to like set up multiple microphones, recording to one program, and I got some programs with it. So yeah, just everything, the stars aligned, time was right.
Yeah, absolutely, stars aligned, time was right, meant to be.
So yeah, so pretty much this whole thing is just going to be us kind of, I don't know, like bantering about like stupid things we hear about, you know, Sharon.
I wouldn't even say stupid things. Some of these things have relevance.
Well, yeah, they're relevant, but they're stupid.
Yeah.
Like they're at least from our perspective.
That's just the name of the Reddit thread that you have open.
Well, no, dude. Like I've been like looking at stuff, and it's just so okay. It's so.
Wait,
stupid.
so looking at stuff, you mean by like looking at the world?
No, yeah, like
as a whole, the media
probably
reports?
What I find like my news most on like the like Twitter news. I just like browse that when I get bored, and there's stupid stuff on there, but it's like relevant, but it's stupid. So you know, I don't know. We'll just rip into a few things. We'll joke about a few things. We'll banter on it. I mean, you know, we'll go back and forth on a few things. Somebody sent us a link to a Reddit that's all just a collection of stupid news, and we're gonna have a good time with that.
And if you guys are listening, first of all, I don't know what you're doing listening to this garbage, but if you do have anything you'd like to talk about, anything topical, feel free to send us
Any suggestions.
Any suggestions? We actually just made a Gmail, ciaranandjoshpodcast@gmail.com. Send us whatever you think you think would make an interesting listening experience for you guys.
If you'd like to send us anything, any gifts or anything like that, I mean, please feel free. Email us, ask us for our, mailing information, the whole deal.
If you know any companies that are looking for free publicity, pretty much, please send them our way. We don't have any sponsors at the moment. However, we are openly looking for them.
Yeah, if they would like to sponsor a podcast with, at the moment, virtually no fan base,
Yeah.
please,
I think we're even in the. I think we've reached the negatives of a fan base. I think if you graphed it, we're actually operating a negative fan base.
Yeah. And then I guess just aside from talking about like current events things, we'll chat a bit about. Ciaran and I for a long time have done this thing where we'll just be like, oh, what's your song of the week, and just like share a song of the week. So obviously we can't play it on here because of copyright issues, but we'll chat about them. They're worth looking up. We listen to good stuff. Just take our word for it.
Yeah. We might just drop down some links into the description, or I don't know what.
Yeah, like where to buy it, where to stream it. If it's on YouTube,
you can find. And most of these songs you're probably going to be able to find on YouTube. And song of the week doesn't have to be 7 days. It can be whatever song you've been vibing with recently, or
it doesn't even have to be a recent release. Like it can be a classic song that you just found out about.
Yeah. So you wanna jump right into it, Josh?
I mean, we'll cover a few other things too.
Oh
right?
yeah,
I mean,
of course. I'm putting the cart before the horse here.
Slow down there. I mean, we'll chat about worst song of the week because I feel like Ciaran and I have some pretty strong opinions about how trash a lot of modern. Actually, there's been trash music for a long time, but
since cavemen were strumming animal innards in caves.
But it seems extra prominent right now. So we'll have an anti-song of the week. We both love films. We'll chat a bit about those, specifically horror movies. We're
love
big
horror
fan.
films.
And just a little bit of everything. It's going to be a pretty eclectic mix. But why don't we hop into it? I think Ciaran has a little news story.
I got this news story. I was driving home today, and I was just on the radio. The radio DJ he commented on this, and he really brushed over it. And
what station?
It was CFox 99.3, and it just blew my mind. Like what I could not even grasp the level of stupidity and lack of due diligence on the parents' part here. So there's a woman, I forget the exact.
Is this local news, like in Vancouver?
No, I think it's like somewhere in the States. I assume in the States.
Classic. Oh, the States.
Yeah, all 50 of them.
If you're listening from the States, we do love you. Don't worry. We're poking a little fun at you.
Yeah. Anything you hear, I say in general. That's a good rule of thumb for this whole podcast. If you hear us just ribbing something real hard, we actually don't really hate it too much. We're just doing it for comedic value. But anyways,
speak for yourself. But,
Okay. This woman was arrested recently for. Okay, Josh, hold on to something. She gave her 11-year-old her own bong to rip, took a video of it, and posted it on social media.
What, dude? Okay. Oh, this is so. Okay.
And the radio DJ, he was just like, "That is so bad. Like that is a bad parent." And I was like, "Dude, that is running.
That's it.
11 years old. Oh my dear God." And posting it on Facebook, like teaching your child.
Okay. First of all, that's so stupid. Look, so you hear so many things about how weed can affect like young people's brains, and there's like a gray area, I guess, when you get to be in like a certain age, sort of like about like maybe, but like 11 years old,
the kid
dude,
probably hasn't even hit puberty yet.
The kid's not even in high school. He doesn't even know what weed is. He probably hasn't even heard of drugs. Like. Okay, that's so stupid.
There's stories of like Robert Downey Jr. right, his dad offering him weed at like age 8 or something like that, and there's outlier stories, but I think on whole, like just that is such a bad idea, especially parents who tell their kids and help them in this way?
Like, what are you thinking? Like, I mean, can you, like, look, I feel like a lot of people, like, they love to use drugs to kind of, like, feel the same sort of way that they felt as a kid, you know, kind of like childlike wonder a little bit, you know, a little free, carefree.
Yeah, I guess
sort
excitement,
of thing,
definitely.
to an extent. And, like, so at 11 years old, you're already essentially, you know, functioning as like a 20-year-old who's like really high. So imagine you're double high at this point, essentially. Like what is this kid
Just
like?
throw an
you know?
exponent on the end of that, honestly.
Dude, you're 11 years old. You're like his body's so like, how is his body even gonna handle a freaking bong hit? I mean, his face is probably big enough, like small enough to fit inside the bong. Like it's just, I don't know how he got that around his mouth, but oh my gosh, that's the. And then, okay, on top of that, like, giving your kid weed is one thing, but you posted it on social media.
Yeah, I think she
like,
shared it on Facebook.
Literally, how many people called like child support? You know,
I think
on
that's
this mom, like,
and she's not even hiding it. Like, weed is still. I don't know what state it is. Might have been in Colorado or in Washington, but still, like, God. I understand. Okay, you know what? Giving your child like a beer to sip or something when they're like 8 or something, okay, that's like beer. All right, there's varying levels of illegal substances to give your child. All right, you're not supposed to give your kid coffee, but if you still give him a sip when he's like 5, it's
but I mean, like the thing, even with like a beer, like you're gonna have to have. I mean, even as a kid, you'll probably have to have like 2 to actually like really start like feeling something. But once. Like they're like hitting a bong, like that kid, like he's not just gonna he's gonna be high.
I feel so bad for that kid. Anyways,
like I don't know, like what is this like lady thinking? Like she's gonna put it on Facebook and then like people are just gonna scroll past and be like, oh wow, like this is a great video, let me give it a little like. Nice, toss that one a like. Oh, my favorite content of the week. Like what did she expect was gonna happen? Oh my gosh.
Let me bookmark this for later. I gotta show my friends.
I hope she was high when she did this. Like,
yeah, most likely. I mean, if she is giving it to her kid, I assume so.
Yeah, dang, that's just ridiculous.
Right. I think we should move past this because we could go in circles about how dumb this
let's
woman
move
is.
on. This, oh my gosh, just how are some people just so stupid, dude? Okay, so this is something I saw last week, and okay, here's the thing, like. I mean, full disclaimer for anyone who doesn't know, like I'd say I'm religious, but like fairly like liberal about it. But when I see like just like stupid like religious stuff, I think it's hilarious. Like that, I just love it. It's so I don't love it. It's entertaining though. So I think it's hilarious.
You're obsessed with cults. We understand.
Yeah, pretty much. I love a good cult from time to time.
Yeah.
But I screenshotted this.
It's like it's like Creed Bratton, where it's like what is that Office quote from Creed? I have been a member of several cults.
Yeah.
Both as a member and as a follower. You make much more money as a leader. Followers much more fun.
So I saw this and oh my gosh, I thought this was the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Church holds blessing ceremony for members and their AR-15 assault rifles, and it's got a picture of a woman in like a white dress wearing a tiara. She looks like she's like, I don't know, like late 50s, like looking upwards, like she's looking up to God, caressing an assault rifle in her arms. And it says, World Peace and Unification Sanctuary. You already sound absolutely off your rocker.
Yeah, culty. Like, extremely culty.
A Christian-based church in Pennsylvania encouraged members to attend a special ceremony with their weapons. Many in the congregation renewed their vows alongside their AR-15s, the same kind of gun that was used in the Parkland school shooting.
Yeah, I saw this, and apparently this is coming from the church. Apparently, the assault rifles represent the rods of iron in the Bible or whatever.
Like in the book of Revelation, they like dude, like what? Like try and picture like Jesus is coming back. It's the second coming. Yeah. He's caressing an AR-15.
Got his Walmart brand ammo, purchased legally. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I I'm also pretty liberal. Hey, as long as it doesn't really affect me, and you're not, impressing on me at all, I'm pretty open to let you do whatever you want. That being said, I like to throw an asterisk when I say that at all times, because it's stuff like this where I'm like, yeah, you know what? You should not, like, this is not good. This is not, like, what is the point? You're blessing your assault rifle, and God, it just looks so culty. It is.
It is a cult. Like, if you look this place
50
up,
people all dressed in white with like crowns and like armbands with
check this out.
AR-15s.
Worshippers clutching AR-15 rifles and some wearing bullet crowns participated in a commitment ceremony today at World Peace and Unification Sanctuary. Oh my gosh. A nearby school canceled classes for the day because of the ceremony. Like, oh my gosh. Like, do you not, like, schools are canceling classes because of this world unification and peace? Like, oh my god.
The apparently in the church's defense, apparently it was scheduled before the shooting that occurred. So, I mean, hey, you got 50 people coming. You can't just, cancel it. God, I mean, you have all these RSVPs. You have the catering. You have the gun storage rental. You have all these permits that are set for that date.
Look, you're running a cult. Your members will make time if you reschedule it. Yeah. They got nothing else going on in their life. This is their life.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. No, I honestly have nothing more to say about that. I think that is really all I need to say.
World unification and peace. Let's come together over our AR-15 assault rifles. Peace, everyone.
Peace signs. Do you want to hit song of the week?
Yeah, let's hit song of the week.
Yeah.
All right, Ciaran, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, song of the week. I am gonna say "New Kid in Town" by the Eagles off of Hotel California. It is a great track. And recently I had my aunt married a man from Mexico. I'm not sure where, close to Mexico City. And he just recently became a landed immigrant. So welcome me, T.O. Wilson. And I remember talking to him, and he said that his favorite album was definitely, one of his favorites was the Eagles, and specifically Hotel California. And I had it on vinyl, and when he came over to my place on Sunday, I was like, I got something to show you. And I threw it on, and he was like, he was so excited, and it was just a great bonding moment for mi nuevo tío, and me. I don't know what "and me" is in Spanish, but yeah, that's all I know.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
love it when people bond over music. I would have to say, my song of the week it's gotta be the latest Jack White single.
Yeah. He's been I think it's like the last 2 weeks has been your song of the week.
Like, it's called Over and Over and Over. It was originally written when he was in the White Stripes. He tried it on a collaboration with Jay-Z, and then that got scrapped or something like that. But essentially, apparently it was originally written in like 2004 or something like that. So he's been like working on it for years. Like, it's never really just worked out, but now he just nailed it. And holy crap, it's one of the best things he's released since the White Stripes broke up. Like, I feel like a lot of fans of the White Stripes, they listen to Jack White's solo stuff and they like it, but
it's definitely different.
It's definitely different than the White Stripes, but like, deep down in their heart, everyone is just like, they're really longing for a little bit of that White Stripes magic that was, left us back in like 2007 with the last album they put out. They broke up in 2011, but the last album they put out was 2007.
Oh, McKenna.
Mike McKenna trying to FaceTime, man.
Oh,
classic.
Man.
So
we'll bring him in as a guest.
He's trying to he really wants to be on the podcast. No, just kidding. But yeah, it's so good. It's super riff based again. It's like pretty heavy. Not like aggressively heavy, but like, it's heavy, but on like, coming from like a radio friendly perspective, heavy. But it's got some really cool kind of like orchestral vocals tossed in there, and all around it's just a good jam. I can't stop listening to it. I think it's great.
I will say, I think, especially with this song, you look at artists and they try to kind of like change themselves, like they keep it, relevant and fresh. So you don't end up like, I don't know, like a hair metal band that's still doing hair metal albums today, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your sound, keep doing it. Love Def Leppard.
We saw him live.
Yeah, saw him live. But I will say that I think that Jack White is trying to change it, like tweak things too much and be too eclectic with his like he did a song for what was it? Oh, The Great Gatsby, the recent adaptation with Leo, my spiritual I don't know,
animal.
I don't know, yeah, my spirit animal. I like, I have that celebrity where you're like, man, I just like
love him,
just love that guy. I really do like
on
Leo.
A side note, young Leonardo DiCaprio I find so annoying. Like I can't stand him. But like, Leonardo DiCaprio now, nice.
Yeah, I mean,
in The Revenant, nice. In The Great Gatsby, nice. Like Inception, nice.
Nice as you can be with surrounded. Well, hey, it's easy for him to be nice, right? He spends his days in a yacht in the Mediterranean. Surrounded by 24-year-old Slovakian models, right? So it's okay for him to be nice.
Nice.
Anyway,
back to Jack White.
Jack White made this. He released a single for it. I think it was called. It's a cover of a U2 song.
Love Is Blindness.
Love Is Blindness. I really like that song.
That's a great song.
But he released it as a B-side to this song called 16 Saltines.
Yeah.
And 16 Saltines, super weird and like. Honestly, not a huge fan of the song. Just
really, 16 Saltines is probably like the most like the least weird song off Blunderbuss. Like
yeah, it's okay. I just honestly haven't listened to it in a while, and really, I think that's telling to why I don't really like it.
It doesn't flow the same way that other stuff did. I've grown to appreciate it a bit more now, but when I first put it on, expecting it to be like a continuation of the White Stripes, I was like a little freaked out.
But I think that he's putting forth this like kind of eclectic weird stuff, and it's like, which is great that he's doing eclectic weird stuff, but it's like he hasn't quite found like the perfect eclectic weird stuff, like he's kind of messed around with this eclectic weird stuff and he hasn't found the sweet spot yet. No, I agree.
But now with this new album, I think it's the sweet spot.
You think it's the sweet spot? It's scratching your itch.
Very much so.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I just had a bit of indigestion there. Do you want to hit the? I don't want to call it anti-song of the week. I think we got to tweak
just
that.
Worst song of the week.
The song
most
that you're just tired. Yeah.
Song of the week.
Oh okay. Gosh. Yeah. Okay. Mine. It's got to be "Finesse" by Bruno Mars featuring Cardi B. When this song first came out, it's been out for a little while. I never really got the hype surrounding it. He performed at the Grammys with Cardi B. In that vintage, 90s.
Where did Cardi B even come from? Because suddenly, like 2 weeks ago, I just hear Cardi B. Everyone just
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, it's not like I listen to like that much like radio and like pay attention to a lot of like the mainstream.
But at the same time, you have to like Bodak Yellow came out in the fall, man. Like
I literally didn't know who she was until like a month ago.
I think just to give people some context, Josh has turned his brain off completely to kind of mainstream music and mainstream music taste. I keep my kind of ear to the wall. I listen to see what's happening. Every once in a while, there's a banger that comes out, and I just love it. Like a pop song that just, scratches my itch, right? It comes on at a frat. Oh, I am tearing up the dance floor. It
is like actually kind of weird for me, like being at parties and people know all of the lyrics to some of these songs, and I'm like, I've literally never heard this song in my life before.
Yeah. Like, but with that Finesse song, my least favorite, I'd say up to this point, it's only March, but hey, least favorite part of any song of this year, definitely the Cardi B part where she's like, have you heard it, Josh?
Dude, I probably have. I just probably didn't know it was this song. That's the case for me with most of this stuff.
She was like, she goes, like, okay, 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 okay.
Oh yeah, I've heard a bit of her improvising, and
it like builds, like each okay goes like okay, 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 but super, rapid, and I just don't vibe with it. Even when I first heard it, I always keep an open mind, and I still was like, I'm just not a fan of this one. I love Bruno Mars, but I'm not a fan of this song, honestly.
dude,
And I hear it on the radio all the time, and I'm like, God, change the radio station.
Speaking of Bruno Mars, though, like he out of all like the kind of pop music, I feel like he's probably one of the most talented people. But man, does he just seem like a dick?
No.
Like
What?
dude,
Oh my
to
God.
hang out with Bruno Mars, like listen to the guy's lyrics, like just the stuff you're lucky for you, that's what I like and stuff, and just like even some of his older albums where he would I can't remember the names of the songs, but like dude, I like you're actually the first person I've mentioned this to who's like had this reaction, especially like I think I mentioned it to a bunch of girls too, and they're like, yeah,
taken
like,
aback.
No, dude, like I
did
think
not think that you had this strong of an opinion about Bruno Mars.
no, like some like his like vocals on Uptown Funk, nice, some of his stuff pretty nice, but like man, like I feel like as a person that guy is just.
How do you know though? How do you know?
From
Never
the
met
things
that guy.
the things he says, his attitude, his lyrics, like I get
You
everybody.
mean his image. You mean his image.
Yeah, I just feel like he's very very full of himself. He's very full of himself.
Okay. I mean, I think I look at him and I'm like, wow, it's a really successful guy. Just he's like 5'4", 5'3", Filipino, doing his thing, performed at the Super Bowl with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Huge.
Oh really?
fan
I
of
didn't
that
know he
band.
did it with the Chili Peppers. That's pretty cool.
Dude, that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I love football.
Josh is a huge fan. I do follow sports, not football really. Kind of get it through like osmosis, where people just talk about it a lot and it just kind of sticks. But Josh is like, I don't even know what's the last sporting event you've even. Well, you do go to the odd like White Caps game, and you go to the odd
Canucks game here
game.
and there. The last sporting event I watched would have been, I think the Olympic women's hockey, the final game between Canada and the U.S.
Well, yeah, but the Olympics is different. I mean, like just
regular sporting
just
event.
regular. Like you went to the TV, turned it on, flipped through the channels, and saw.
Oh, I only ever really no. I've never just put it on myself. Like my family will put it on sometimes, and then I'll go watch.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I've never gone to the TV and been like, oh yeah, gotta catch the game tonight.
Oh really? You said that with such an edge in your voice, man. I watched the game. I watched the Canucks.
Hey, good for you.
Wow.
Good for you.
Oh yeah. You know what? Maybe you just don't have the. You know what? With that kind of attitude, I don't even think that any sports team would want to have you in their fan base. Honestly.
Oh, ouch. Really, it was my dream to be a devout member of a sports team fan base, and you've just stripped it from me.
Yeah, I quashed it.
A lot of people can say a lot of offensive things to me, but that one cut deep. That one cut deep.
That cuts deep, man.
Yeah.
Do you want to hit throw on?
Yeah.
What's your least favorite song of this?
Least favorite song of the week. I have two that I just heard, and I just hate. Oh my gosh. Okay. The first one I'll hit.
Compose yourself before you go into this, because I know you have a lot of pent up anger.
First one I'll hit is "No Excuses" by Meghan Trainor, which sounds like every other Meghan Trainor song, which sounds like every other pop song. So there's really absolutely nothing original about it. Honestly, like lyrically, it's not even that original for her. Like she talks a lot about guys treating women right in like relationships and stuff, which is great. I support that, but it seems at this point that she's just writing the same song over and over and over again. She's not coming at it with any new angles or like looking at different situations or anything like that. And it's like, it seems like the kind of music at this point where she'll get like a catchy little hook, and she'll be like this one was like, oh, like you must have mistook me for someone else, like, because you wouldn't be talking to me like that. And I feel like it's just such a thing that like I don't know, like moms are like, yeah, like, wow, listen to this, but it's like she's saying the same thing in every song, and then she just, I don't know, she tosses in like a few like, ooh yeah, like it's just, it's so lyrically weak.
Yeah,
it's so lyrically weak.
She's overplayed the I'm considered fat to some. Like, okay, you know what? I look at you. You are not fat. All right.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, you're. I think people have overplayed the whole mainstream media thing of like, women who are over 100 pounds are fat. Like,
it's actually, it's a little messed up because like every time that there's someone who's like plus sized, and then they market it as plus sized, but it's like they're these regular looking people. Like I don't get it.
It's like a person I'd see on the street. It's like, oh, that's plus size now.
And I can't imagine how like that would make someone who is like actually overweight feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Happy International Women's Day, by the way.
Yes. But seriously though, yeah. Happy International Women's Day. We're recording on International Women's Day, and we love the ladies in our lives. But
our moms.
Aside from the hate on this song, there definitely is. Women deserve a lot more respect than I think they're still getting now. I mean, there's been steps taken since. Well, there's been a lot of steps taken, but there's still a lot more to take, and we're hoping we can help the world move forward one step at a time. Toss a few great things out in this podcast.
Do you want me to? Okay, I don't even know how to follow up with that. Sure, like I guess ditto.
You agree? Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And anyways, but I had another one that I just heard. Havana feat. Young Thug by Camila Cabello. Who even is that?
She's a singer.
Okay, yeah, evidently. Yeah, and
she has a whole album out now.
It sounds exactly the same as every other pop song. It sounds.
Before you even get started, this song came out, I think, over the summer. Honestly,
did it really? Because
yes. You're missing this train.
Like, and the lyrics are like, I just listened to it. The lyrics are
for the first time.
Yeah, what? I think so. I maybe heard it like a few times. I don't know, but like
one in 1 year.
First of all, maybe you can like, your song won't be as bad if it sounds like every other song, but at least you have like decent lyrics. Like, it's telling a story. The lyrics are ooh na na, ooh yeah, ooh na na. Like, what?
Havana. You forgot. Like,
Havana.
It goes ooh na na.
Yeah.
I'm in
Havana.
Half of me is in Havana, but I'm in East Atlanta. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. You open up my eyes. Like if it's like, if we can like put out this kind of garbage and like they make so much money off it, like, dude, I could be a friggin' billionaire by now if I was just pumping all that stuff.
I know, so why don't you? Why don't you?
Because I don't know, dude. I
feel
like I would lose my integrity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sell my soul.
I will say I hopped on that Havana train. I know it was probably in the fall, like midway through the fall. That song was huge. In my mind, I thought it was really good. Young Thug's verse. Don't even understand what he's saying. It's pretty good. I can vibe with that. Comes on in a frat. I like it. I actually downloaded it on my phone. I ran to it for a bit. However, now I am sick of that song. I really should go on my phone and take it off because my temperament is upset when I listen to that song. Like, I think it actually messes with my blood pressure and a whole bunch of other vitals that really are delicate. And I don't think that's helping. That song is helping in the slightest.
It's just, look, like, these artists bug me. Like, pop music just bugs me in general because it's literally.
I think we've addressed that. Yeah.
It is, but it's made.
That's pretty clear over the past 49 minutes.
They use like algorithms, and they literally have equations, like, to like sell this music because they're just looking to make as much money as possible.
Mm-hmm.
There's like algorithms and equations and all based on like loudness, danceability, like, and they're essentially, it's like look this up, like, this is an actual thing. They're remaking
the danceability algorithm.
No, it's an actual thing, but they're remaking like essentially the same songs that have been out for the past 40 years, same pop songs, just with like slight tweaks, and just recycling this stuff.
Mhm.
It's like it's holding music back, you know, like people
Wow.
are.
It is
like,
a bold
I mean,
claim.
people kind of like they're always talking about like, oh, like 60s, 70s, 80s. Wow,
I will
what
agree.
A,
This
what a time for music. But we're like, here's why now isn't like wow, like an amazing time for music, because it's like
it's not innovative.
It's not innovative. There's people holding it back. So that's just my 2 cents.
I think you gave probably like a $5 bill instead of a 2 cent.
I get worked up.
Yeah. Clearly. Yeah. Do you want to move into films? Any films that?
Well, actually, dude, I just saw this thing.
Oh
on the
my
Reddit,
Lord God! the MacBook that we have in front of us. He just he pulled away the recording software.
Pulled up Safari.
Safari, and first I saw this mugshot of a woman. You know what? I love women. Happy International Women's Day. But that is an unflattering photo of that woman.
Like, just...
And
it looks like Kurt Cobain, but if, like, his skin got really puffy because he had, like, a sickness or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
More yellowy, kind of like if you had jaundice.
Yeah. The headline on this, though, is... Woman tries to trick authorities with prescription for medical meth.
And of course,
medical meth.
And of course, it's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you, Heisenberg.
It says, oh, man.
Her name's Ginger. Oh, God.
Ginger Sharp. Does that sound remarkably close to Ginger Snap?
What are you...
Ginger Sharp?
Do you want to keep going?
I don't know. I feel like that's...
Where's this bit going? Are you taking it?
I don't know where I'm going with that. It's just coming to me. It's coming to me.
All right. Well, you threw it out there now. You can't take it back.
What do you use medical meth for? To get the bugs out from under your skin? I got some bugs under my skin. Let me just take some medical meth so I can get them out.
Imagine what a medical meth, like, I've seen the insides of medical dispensaries for marijuana, and they're just filled with people who are super relaxed and super laid back. Slow moving too, but I can't even imagine what a medical meth
walk up to the counter. Like. Here's $50. Okay, great. Here's a rusty spoon.
No, honestly, I don't even think there'd be a
door.
Lighter. It'd probably be like a flap of cardboard or something like that.
Yeah. Here's a rusty spoon. Here's a lighter with not a lot of fuel left in it. You're gonna have to flick it like quite a few times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so you're gonna so we got, what are you actually looking for? I actually have a okay. Jeez, oh my God. Okay, sorry, that was a bad trip. Yeah, like what would the
we're
seller
just gonna
even...
go, and then you can just go chill in the heavily padded room over there. Have a great time.
Yeah,
enjoy your trip.
Because I know that medical dispensaries, you even just walk past on the street and you look inside and you see the people in there. You know they're sampling. You know,
like it's not medical.
They are sampling
medical.
Hey, you know what? They're doing it, but they're still working. I can't even. I can't imagine what a medical meth worker would look like on meth.
Oh man.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone on meth, thank goodness, but I can't imagine them. I mean, I've seen like PSAs of people on, tripping out, and I can't imagine them selling me anything. I can't imagine holding a conversation with them, let alone buying something, engaging in a transaction.
Dude, like, speaking of it, like medical like marijuana dispensaries, especially in Vancouver, those are such a joke.
Dime a dozen.
Like, there's like, here's the deal. In Vancouver, you can literally walk into like any medical marijuana like dispensary, pretty much, and you go up to the front, and you don't have a medical marijuana card yet, so and they say, oh, all right, come into the back, and like these guys, they literally have like doctors on FaceTime,
people
on
in
Skype,
lab coats,
and they, you walk in and they're like, do you get headaches? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. I have pain in my back. Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
glaucoma?
Yeah, well.
Check.
Oh, man. Anyways, let's just move on. We have actually talked a lot about weed in this. Yeah. Weed is like taking up 50% of this podcast.
Whoa. 50%.
Hidden. Well, okay, 25. It's an exaggeration, Ciaran.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm not a mathematician.
That is
here.
absolutely
Like,
a hyperbole.
Give me a break. Yeah. Let's hit some films. Films.
There's one film in particular that's created a bit of buzz recently. It's called Veronica. It's by a Spanish director. Josh, can you get the name?
Yeah, let me grab the name for you. It's actually the same guy who directed a found footage movie called Record.
Highly recommend it.
It's a great movie. It's got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's really good. Sometimes it seems like the found footage genre is just worn out, but it's very refreshing. It's very well done, and there's never a moment where you're like, why are they still holding the camera? This is stupid. Like, it always makes sense for them to have the camera.
There's a lot of like solid logic in that film, and I think that's lacking from a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, and it's like it's this girl who's working on a TV show
this is Record.
This is Record. They're working on a TV show where they make episodes about people who work at night. So they're recording these firefighters to see what they do at their job when they're working night shifts. And so then they get a call to this building, and it's not anything crazy. So you can come with us. Like, you're filming what we do with our jobs. This is what we do. We'll take you to this site.
And firefighters actually alerted to this film. I saw it, and I actually didn't believe it. Checked it, and firefighters do mostly, they're just first responders. Like, they don't fight fires all the time. They're trained paramedics and everything like that. So, it would make sense for them to hit this call.
Yeah, so then they go into this building, and there's somebody's like feeling really sick or something like that.
There's like a shouting, like an old woman is
she's
causing a civil disturbance or something.
She's a little off her rocker, and essentially then they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just wrap up filming, but then the building's quarantined and no one can leave, and things escalate from there. But anyways, the director is Paco Plaza. He's great director. What a guy. But this film, Veronica, just tossed on Netflix. It has been creating quite a buzz. My dad actually told me the other day. He said, "Have you watched this?" He knows I love horror movies, right?
We watched it with him.
Yeah, and he says it's got like 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's supposed to be great. I say, no, I haven't heard of it, but I'll give it a watch. So we're gonna watch this tomorrow night. At least my dad and I think Ciaran's got some activities.
I'm hitting a frat.
Yeah. So, but
Fiji,
hopefully
Islander party.
Ciaran,
Looking forward to it.
It's your duty to watch this film before the next podcast so that we can chat about
I'll probably honestly watch it with you.
I'd probably be down to watch it again, but I get this sent to me last night, and I said, oh, this is the film my dad was talking about. It says, Netflix released a new horror film, Veronica, and it is said to be the scariest film ever made. It is based on an absolute real story. Even science is unable to explain the deaths in this. Netflix said only 1 out of 100 people are able to watch the full film. Experts are suggesting that it can kill weak-hearted people. Are you brave enough?
Now, okay,
that's probably a lot of it is hype.
Yeah, a bit of a hyperbole there. I don't think that Netflix would open itself to lawsuits if it actually put content out that killed people.
Yeah.
That being said, anything that says, oh yeah, people have actually died watching this movie. I could, what? I'll watch the first 15 minutes. If it's, people have died and watching this movie and it's complete garbage, and you can tell with a horror movie if it's going to be complete garbage within the first 10 minutes, I will turn that off. And, unless I'm looking for like a greasy fare, greasy horror movies, I kind of equate that to like you just crave McDonald's sometimes. You're like, I'll have
just
some,
give me some trash, please.
Give me some garbage to coat the ribs or whatever. But this film,
I'll take 2 just make garbage bins, please.
Take will this meal take 10 minutes off the end of my life?
Look,
yes.
just go into the trash can inside and just scoop out whatever leftovers are in there and just blend it up and give it to me.
That's disgusting. Anyways, I'm really looking forward to this film.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be probably a bit one of a bit more one of those kind of arty films. I think like it's like something that would do really well at a film festival. Because I've found with a lot of these really good horror films that are like they got great creepy ambiance and stuff. They're released at like some film festivals first, and everyone loves it there because they're really into movies and critics love it. And then it gets released to the public, and then everyone's like, "Oh, what's the hype? Like there weren't enough jump scares in this. Like what the heck?" Like that happened with The Witch.
Yeah.
I loved The Witch.
Great
That was it was so disturbing too, but it was it was so well made. It hit a bunch of film festivals. People were freaking out because it was a great movie. Then it goes to the public, and it's not like your regular horror film. Like like there's not a bunch of jump scares and all this stuff. It doesn't keep to the same formula. It's more like a really well-made film that is terrifying.
Yeah.
And then I guess people just don't like that. They trash the reviews, but still critics love it, right? So I feel like that's what this movie is going to be like. So you just got to know what you're going into. Because there've already been some people, now that it's released to the public, that have been like, oh, it's not worth the hype. It's not great. Don't even watch it. But the critics love it.
I think with specifically with The Witch, I don't know what it's like for Veronica, but The Witch was kind of like a period piece almost.
Yeah.
It's about this Puritan family in the New World, and they live on their own.
Kind of sort of like Middle Ages, sort of. Well, maybe no.
No, like 1600s, like a Puritan
1600s,
Puritan family, new like pilgrims basically,
Yeah.
and they live on their own on the edge of this forest. And they've included the director.
Well, because they've just been exiled from the city.
Yeah, from I wouldn't even call it from the settlement, from the colony, and the
gated community.
Yeah, the gated community. The director threw in a whole bunch of references that you kind of had to do your own research about it. Like there's a lot of imagery of like a jackrabbit, and apparently back in the day, a jackrabbit was a sign of like a witch. Mm-hmm. Same with like a black goat, and the family has a black goat too. And that's a major focal point of the film. So it begs, I think, future viewing and also research on the part of the viewer, which I don't want.
Most people aren't willing to do.
Okay, I didn't want to go there. I don't want to say, most people.
People are not willing to appreciate art.
Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Where did that come from? But...
Sorry, I was just channeling my inner grandpa there.
Okay, yeah. I thought that twang you had in there just took that whole bit in another direction.
I'm gonna be such a good old man.
Oh, you already are basically an old man. You listen to records. You drink tea all the time.
Sip wine.
Yeah. You don't drink. You don't drink hard stuff. You just drink wine. Rosé.
Just love my wine.
Yeah. But God, lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to seem like a pompous film critic with my beret and half moon spectacles and cigarette in mouth. But yeah, it's tough being a connoisseur of great film.
Yeah. But yeah, it is a great movie. It's definitely worth a watch. But it seems like Veronica will be the same way. I mean, we'll get back to you on that with a little review, but we just wanted to let you know, if the podcast doesn't continue after this, we've died. We died from watching the movie because we were too weak. We were weak-hearted. It killed us.
Do you want to? Well, you're gonna watch it before me, though.
Oh yeah, so I guess it'll just be the Ciaran experience.
Yeah, and if you're already watching this, watching, wow, listening. If you're already listening to this, you already know what kind of dribble like this putrid content is going to be.
I mean, so just imagine Ciaran bantering with himself. Yeah. Like it's going to be. The word that comes to mind is atrocious.
Atrocious?
Yeah.
I can imagine them playing a podcast of just myself in like a mental asylum to drive the
He's rocking
crazy.
Back and forth, just holding the microphone.
Like,
welcome to the Ciaran experience.
Welcome to the Ciaran experience. Thanks, Ciaran. Yeah, no problem, Ciaran. No, totally.
But yeah, we're looking forward to it. It'll be a great time. Mm-hmm. And we'll keep hitting you with some more film reviews as time goes by, because we love our films. So
is there a television show? This is right off the cuff. We have exhausted all the things we were going to talk about. We're on the fly right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Really?
Josh, is there a television show or other piece of visual media that you've been consuming recently?
Television show or other piece? Well, let's see. I just watched this kind of mini series on Netflix called "The End of the F star 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 ing world," and that's the title. That's the title. You can't look it up any other way. And I guess it apparently was based on like a comic or something like that. And I was just really bored one day, and I just tossed it on.
That's how a lot of your
Yeah.
visual media consumption starts out with.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, why did you watch that? Oh, I was just really bored.
Yeah, and it's basically like this teenage, like psychopath, and this girl who's got like serious issues. They end up like running away together, and things get like it's like kind of a dark comedy. Like things get surprisingly dark with it at some points. But altogether, it was a really enjoyable watch. Like it was great. There's definitely some heavy content. There's some really funny bits. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching. It's sad, but also it'll make you smile. It'll make you cry. It's good. It's a good miniseries.
If you can laugh, cry, and pray in one television show, I call that entertainment.
Yeah. And yeah, it's strange though, because the girl is like, she's really weird. She's like pretty into him, and the whole time you can hear what's going on inside their heads every once in a while. He's plotting to kill her. That's why he ran away with her, because he wants to kill her.
Ooh.
He's like planning his first human to kill.
Wow.
He's like, I used to kill animals, and now I want to move on to my first person.
That is how it starts. That is how it starts.
So he's like, oh, I'm going to run away with her, and then I'll build up to it, and I'm going to stab her.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely a little different. It's interesting.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I have no context just about this show.
But it's pretty romantic too.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? Oh, sounds lovely.
Yeah. It's a lovely watch.
Something you could watch with your mother or grandma?
Depends on how cool your mom and grandma are.
Oh, okay.
All right. So should we hit a happy crappy?
Oh, love Happy Crappies.
We were first introduced to
Happy
have when Ciaran and I were in youth group back in the day.
Yeah.
We'd have our little small group, and we all just hang out. Started off with a happy crappy, just
Honestly,
like catch up with what's going on in our week.
It really just we didn't even, from what I remember, didn't have a lot of really deep discussions. It just consisted of the Happy Crappy.
Yeah.
Because we never got a chance to go through anything else because we always got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Happy Crappy. Mm-hmm.
Do you have one for this past week, Ciaran?
Oh, this past week?
Yeah.
Or just today? We used to do today or that day.
No, we did the past week because we'd have small group once a week.
No, we would always do.
No, wrong.
Really?
Mm.
Oh, wrong? Well, yeah, you're the encyclopedia, right?
Yeah.
Past week, crappy, I'm going to say,
Dead air, Ciaran. You're killing the podcast.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're putting me on the spot. This is what happens when you fly off the cuff like this, Josh. You got to allow for some of these things. You know what? I'll start out with happy. Going to Mexico on the 20th.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, leaving on the 19th, going to Seattle, flying out of Seattle. Really looking forward to it. Going to Nuevo Vallarta in Mexico, just close to Puerto.
Exotic. Wow.
Puerto Vallarta. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going to the beach and escaping the cold, getting my suntan on, and
beautiful.
Yeah. And then this is gonna be, it's coupled with my crappy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing some class time to go, so that means that I have to finish a whole bunch of assignments before I leave.
Shame.
I could have procrastinated and done in the time that it takes to go to in Mexico. And I have a whole bunch of tests that I'm missing, and I'm going to have to take them after I come back. So I'm going to have that hanging over my head. But I think I'm going to be not severely. Whoa, we got to watch the Christian audience here. I'm going to be sufficiently lubricated with alcohol since I've turned 19 that I will be okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about
Beautiful.
you, Josh? Happy crappy?
Happy crappy.
Flip it around. Crappy happy?
Let's see. Okay, so the crappy is probably, like, I don't know. It wasn't, like, horrible, but it was just, like, it was strange and kind of uncomfortable. Like, in my art class.
Do tell.
My art class on Monday.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
At UBC. We were drawing live nude models this week.
Oh, so this is your happy, right?
No, this is the crappy, because it's like the whole thing. What I'm not gonna say was like crappy. It was interesting. It was an interesting experience.
Actually, you haven't talked to me about this since, because
yeah.
there was a huge build up to doing this. Because at the beginning, like in syllabus week,
yeah, it was
your
strange.
prof was like, we will be doing nude models in this course, so please be aware. You know, that kind of.
Yeah.
That's a huge, like, honestly, that's a huge drop on a student. You're gonna be drawn a nude model.
Yeah. So, we just had this like nude model in the middle of the room on this table, and the whole class there's like 20 of us there, surrounding the table. It was kind of weird, and then I think there's like 3 guys in the class, including myself. Pretty sure one of them wasn't there, if I'm remembering correctly. But I look across the room at the other guy. One other guy is there, and he's like looking up at this nude model. And
is it a male or a female? The
it's
model?
A female, yeah.
Oh,
and
right.
and he's just like,
that's an interesting
he's
dynamic.
like looking up. His eyes are wide. He's like swallowing. He's like gulping. He's kind of like breathing. He's like he's
Tensed.
freaking. He's
Tensed.
freaking out. Like he's tweaking out a little bit, and
Having himself a little tweak.
Yeah. And so, it was fine. And we were doing a bunch of different drawings, but there would be different amounts of time we spent on each drawing, and then she would like strike a new pose, and she'd kind of rotate around. So at one point, when she was facing kind of towards me, and she was just sitting with like her legs crossed, and she was not really looking at me, and her eyes were at the opposite corner of the room from me, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just drawing. Mm-hmm. And then I look up to
I assume so.
Yeah, and
drawing class.
Yeah, and I look up to like get some of the details of her face, and then her eyes just suddenly dart over to me, and we make eye contact.
Rest in peace. Yeah, you're done.
And when it's awkward when you make eye contact with like just like anybody you don't know in public?
Yeah, pick up your easel and just walk out of the room.
So here's some girl I've never had
my advice.
Here's some girl I've never had a conversation with in my life. Complete stranger who's sitting there. We make eye contact, and also she's completely naked, and I'm drawing her. So it's super weird, and we're just like locking eyes, and I didn't know what to do, and I was just like freaking out of my head, and I just like
walk out.
I
just leave.
Dart my head back down to my paper, just pretend I'm like shading. It's such a weird experience. So it was just weird. It was a weird time. Yeah, and so
was it just the one model that you did?
Yeah, I think we're doing it again this upcoming week though, and it might be a guy this time. So I'd be interested to see how the vibe is different on the room with that. But
mostly female. Mostly female audience for that excursion.
Yeah. So and then the happy for this week was last night we just Ciaran and I and our friend Cole, we went out to the pub on Wings night. It was a great time. Yeah. We just hung out for like an hour, had a few good conversations. Yeah. We talked about the podcast a little bit, and it was a really enjoyable time. I liked it.
Those wings, Josh didn't partake in the wings. Cole and I had
I had one.
You had one.
Yeah.
Cole and I had I had 12. Cole had 11, and it was so spicy. Like I can eat hot food. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get some hot wings. But the thing is, though, the problem, I got the cheapest drink that I could find, Long Island iced tea. It was like $4.95 or something like that, trying to save money.
It was a deal that night.
It was a deal that night, and it was so spicy. I drained and you know what? It took a long time for the wings to come out. So my drink was already, I'd say, 3/4 of the way done. And
yeah,
I was severely.
You're freaking out, man.
I was tweaking. I was sweating. My face was red. His face was red.
Yeah.
Sweating. I had my nose was dripping, and it was dripping down into my mouth, and I couldn't stop it. I could not even, like, using a napkin, not even effective, right? But yeah, I had to excuse myself several times to go to the bathroom to wash my face and wash my hands just to compose myself.
Speaking of the bathroom, though, why is the bathroom always so disgusting at the landing
pub?
Like, I remember going in, because I've only been a few times, like freshly 19, right? And I remember going in the first time I was
ladies.
there. Yeah, going in the first time, and it was gross in there. Like it looked kind of dirty. Like it looked like the floor needed to be like swept or like mopped or something like that. It smelled disgusting, like put an air freshener in there, please. And I remember going in last night, and I was like walking in the bathroom, and I was like, oh man, like this bathroom's always like gross. But tonight's like not too busy. Like it's like later on in the day. They probably had a little bit of time to like maybe clean it or something like that. And I walk in, And like, no, it just blows my expectations away all the time. Somebody's thrown up all over the urinal. It's all over the ground. It's like the food is like barely digested. Yeah, dude, you can see.
I missed that completely.
I don't know how you missed that. It was like way out in the open.
Wow.
Like you can, and you know exactly what this person had for dinner. Like horrible.
Oh man.
And I, like, for those who don't know, I have the bladder of a pregnant woman.
9
so,
months.
I had to
months.
go twice. I went twice in the span of an hour and had to confront this. Horrible.
Oh man. It's I went to the all boys private school, like Josh said earlier. So I think I've acclimatized to horrible bathrooms. Like, honestly, we could. I want to save some of the good stories for later episodes of the podcast. Some of you guys who are listening who went to VC, you absolutely know like the kind of debauchery and stuff that went on in the bathrooms because there's no cameras there, right? But the bathrooms are always just filthy. There's one story that I want to just throw out there, like just the kind of level, not really disgusting, but just like extremely uncomfortable, and really just makes you question, like, what is this place? Like, is this even a school?
Is this hell? Have I entered hell?
Is this even a school anymore? Yeah. Like, have I crossed that line?
Yeah.
When I was in grade 11, I walked into the seniors' bathroom, and I went to one of the urinals, and I looked down at there's a stall that was like kind of directly to my left, and a fun thing to do, and I say fun in quotation marks here, you can't see me doing it, but fun thing for the VC boys to do was just rip the doors off the stalls, just for gigs, right? Having a laugh.
Oh my god, that just sounds like such a VC thing.
And they reinforced it several times, like the actual doors of the stalls, and the boys kept finding ways. You know what? All the power to them. They were innovative. They kept ripping the stall doors off.
How bored do you have to be to just make it a hobby of yours to rip stall doors off? Like,
anyways.
Oh, hey man, what's going? Oh yeah. Oh, nothing.
Rip the store doll. Yeah,
let's go rip some.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, dude. Sick, bro. Yeah.
Sick, bro.
Like, oh, look at this guy rip the door out. Oh, nice. Ah. You're going places, man. You're going places.
Dude, I gotta shake your hand. You ripped that door off like a champ. Okay, sitting in one of the stalls with a door. The door was gone. There was no door in sight. It's not like it was ripped off and just placed on the side.
For a split second, I thought you were saying you're sitting in one of the stalls and somebody just comes in and rips the doors off.
I'm walking to the urinal and I look. You can't stop because to get to the urinal, you have to look, like you turn your body in that direction towards the stalls. There's Chris Ellis. He's in grade 12 at this point. He currently won the best, I don't know what the trophy's called, but in Canadian university football, best defensive player or some best player. So he's a pretty big guy. We'd never spoken. He's kind of like the alpha male football type. And I just walked in and he looks up and he's sitting. He's doing his business on the stall. No door. Don't know why. There was 2 stalls to choose from. One of them had a door on, one of them didn't. Pants around his ankles, sitting there, and he looks up and he sees me, and I'm walking towards the urinal, and I kind of stop, and we make eye contact, and he just says, "How's it going, man?" And I continue on the way to the stall, and I take a few steps, and I just return it. "Not too bad. How are you?" And I instantly regretted the "how are you?" because it opened it up for a further conversation, and then he's just like, "Oh, I'm all right." And it ended there.
Okay.
And I finished my business, washed my hands, and left as soon as possible, leaving Chris Ellis on the toilet.
Dude, speaking of that, okay, this is actually so funny. My when we were in Palm Springs like a couple weeks ago, like my family and I, we were at this Mexican restaurant, and my brother went to the washroom, but they're like, there's like 2 bathrooms, and they're like the single person bathrooms, there's like a toilet and a sink. You lock the door, and so he went in, and then he's just in there, he's washing his hands, and I guess he forgot to lock the door, and this old guy, like we're talking over 70, walks in, opens the door because it's not locked, like doesn't even notice that this kid is in there washing his
How
hands.
do you not notice?
Yeah, he walks up to the toilet, undoes his
no,
pants.
No.
Then he looks over at my brother who's standing there washing his hands. He looks at him, dingo in hand, looks at him, gives him a nod, and goes back to, just turns his head back to the toilet.
Oh God.
So
was he at a urinal or like?
No, it was a toilet.
He was like standing
It's
up
a single, yes.
Oh God. I thought he was like taking his pants off and was like sitting down on the toilet, but that is so weird.
Gives him a nod.
Oh my gosh. Acknowledges his
This
presence.
confident nod. You sick bastard.
Oh my God. There's a special kind of like, that takes some major cojones. Like, oh man.
There's a special place in hell for people who do walk in and do that with that kind of confidence.
I wouldn't say that. I would say, you know what? If you're that confident, you deserve an award for that kind of like, oh my God. Jesus.
Here's an award. You can pee in front of people without shame. Good for you.
Like, what level of desperate do you have to be to pee? Like,
I feel like
at that level.
Everybody who's like north of 70 in Palm Springs, they just don't care anymore. They absolutely do not care. Like, they could not care less about anything. Like about what people think of them. Like we were driving around. This guy's in like a Jeep with like. No, the kind of Jeeps where there's like no top to it
it's
at all,
top,
right?
They
topless
still have
Jeep, yeah. So he's topless inside of his topless
Oh, really?
Jeep, yeah, and
man.
and
Oh, okay.
and my mom, the first thing she says, she looks at him, she goes, "That guy's skin has had way too much sun." Like his skin looks like a piece of leather that's been tanned in the sun.
Been drying in the sun for the past 50 years.
Cowhide that's ready to be
used
worked
in
into
boot
like
leather.
like he looks like they're gonna make a friggin' like alligator skin boot out of him.
Yeah.
So and long beard, shaggy hair. And he's just in his Jeep. He's stopped in traffic and he's just singing out loud.
Does he look over and confidently nod? And
is
that a thing with is that
the
a
guy?
thing in Palm Springs?
The guy has
just confidently nodding at everyone.
No, like the guy has like I don't even know if he's aware that there's other people around anymore at this point. Like he's so like detached from reality, and he's just singing. He's singing at the top of his lungs.
What song is he singing?
I don't know, dude. It was undecipherable. It was
Is
undecipherable.
it like Leonard Skinner or something like that? Or?
Yeah. something from his golden years.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, something that could be classified as the golden oldies.
The last time he had human contact back in like 1952, like.
Yeah, it just kind of it's everything. I'd say 52 is a stretch. Okay, like anything past the millennium,
it's an exaggeration.
Anything past the millennium is just a blur. For me.
He's like, I don't know what was that. He's like, I knew, at the turn of the century, I said the computers, they're not going to be able to handle it. It's going to be the end of the world, and I was right. It's just me, Lone Ranger, in my Jeep. Like,
what are the odds that this guy has like a cream white, not a Mac, but a PC that runs Windows 95 at his home, and he uses it not as like a hobby, like not as a conversation piece. Like he actually uses it.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Just to play seriously? like what's Brick Breaker? He just plays Brick Breaker
or Free Cell. Yeah. Loves his solitaire.
Yeah. Solitaire. Mm.
Yeah.
He's like, the things they come up with these days. How did they think of it?
Don't even give that. You know what? I bet he has Pong. I bet he has an Atari.
Oh, 100%.
I bet he has an Atari.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. All those copies of E.T. the video game, just hoards them.
Either that, or he's definitely a hermit living on a mountain.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's
he lives
off
the grid.
Tram. Yeah.
Off the grid.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like we've really just hit everything.
I think we've touched all of our bases.
Yeah, it's been an excellent time. Thank you so much to everyone who's listening to our first podcast, the Josh and Ciaran Experience. We hope you had a great experience with it. And we're in the future we're going to plan to book a few guests on the podcast. A lot of famous people. Just kidding. There's absolutely no way that any famous people are going to be on
If
here.
you don't live in Ladner, I honestly, I highly doubt you know them.
Yeah, well, we actually have someone coming from pretty far away. Hopefully next week. We're pretty certain that this is going to be our guest next week. Cole Beeksma, all the way from Tawasin.
Mm-hmm.
He's really just making the trek out here to Ladner to come on the podcast. Cole was the guy who we were out at the landing with last night.
Yeah, 15-minute drive to Ladner Tawasin, 15 minutes.
I mean, what a guy. He employee at Delta Carpets, student. He can tell you
Trinity Western University's finest.
Yeah, if you have any questions about carpets for Cole, please email us at ciaranandjoshpodcast@gmail.com.
We'll throw it in. We'll throw a link to that in whatever medium we present this on.
Rugs, fair game too.
Yeah, rugs too, I would say.
Yeah, really, just toss it out there.
Mats?
We will.
Question mark potentially.
It might be. It might be
within his ballpark. Do you think?
Might be slightly kind of out of his. It might be uncharted territory, but
if there's anyone I'd like to chart that territory with,
it's Cole. It's Cole. Yeah. So we'll have him on next week. We're gonna have a great time. Probably crack open a bottle of wine. Hang out.
I think that's. Is it crack open? I don't know if it's crack. I think
what
crack open kind of refers to like cracking up a cold one with the boys.
You mean cracking open a cold rosé with the boys?
Sure. Okay. I'm going to end it off. Happy International Women's Day. And if anyone has actually made it this far, the hour and a half of us bantering back and forth, next time you see me in person, I need to shake your hand like firmly because
we love you.
That is just a feat unto itself. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to the full hour and a half of us banter back and forth.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm just posting this. That's
just slapping this on raw.
I can't listen to myself.
Yeah, we're just gonna not even a jingle or at the beginning or end.
I mean, after this, I'm gonna go silent for a week. I'm not even gonna talk till the next podcast. Yeah. I've talked myself out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. All right, well,
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to do this hopefully every week. We will commit to at least once a month, but hopefully once a week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you hopefully next week. This has been Josh.
Oh, and Ciaran. Sorry, I was not. We need to iron that out a little bit better.
Yeah, let's try that one again. This has been Josh
and Ciaran,
and this has been the Josh and Ciaran Experience.
Au
Thanks
revoir.
for listening.